I never thought a simple wooden fence could almost cost me my home, but that's exactly what happened. The HOA president tried to fine me into submission, threatened to put a lien on my property, and in the end, she lost everything because she underestimated me. Let me tell you how it started. My name's Michael Carter. I moved to Willow Creek, a suburban neighborhood outside Dallas, because I wanted quiet. My wife and I thought it would be the perfect place to raise our daughter. We had a 2-car garage, a small yard, and a promise of community. But what came with it was a homeowners association run by a woman named Linda Thompson. Imagine every bad HOA story you've ever heard: power-hungry, condescending, hiding her malice behind fake smiles. That was Linda. She carried a clipboard like it was a royal scepter, and she believed her word was law. I learned that the hard way. One Saturday, I put up a wooden fence along the side yard. Nothing extravagant, just a standard 6-foot barrier so my dog could run without slipping out. By Monday, Linda was on my doorstep. She didn't say hello, she didn't even introduce herself. She just waved her clipboard like a weapon. "This fence violates subsection B of the community standards," she declared, voice dripping with superiority. I blinked at her. "Ma'am, the contractor used the exact plan approved by the builder. It's 6 feet on the dot." She smirked. 6.5. "Tear it down or face fines. You have 7 days. Then she spun on her heel and strutted off like she'd conquered something. At first I thought it was a mistake. I sent the HOA an email with copies of my contract and the city permit. I figured reason would win. Instead, a letter showed up taped to my door: $250 fine accruing daily until fence removed. $250 per day. And I wasn't the only target. Mrs. Alvarez down the street, a 78-year-old widow, got slapped with a threat to seize her home over a $25 late fee she'd never seen before. It was absurd. It was harassment. But at that point, I didn't know just how deep Linda's claws reached. The fines kept piling. Every morning I'd find another envelope stuck under my wiper blade or taped to the garage door. The total hit thousands. My wife begged me, "Just take down the fence, Michael. It's not worth the fight." And I'll be honest, I started to believe her. I lay awake at night doing the math, wondering if I'd bankrupted my family over a strip of wood. Maybe Linda was right. Maybe I was being stubborn. Maybe I didn't belong here. That was my lowest point, questioning myself, doubting if I had the strength to stand up against a woman who had the whole board wrapped around her finger. Then came John Miller. He was my neighbor, a quiet retired mechanic with a limp. One evening he knocked on my door holding a folder. "You're not the first," he said. "She pulled the same stunt on me last year." But I kept the minutes from the HOA meetings. Inside the folder was gold proof Linda had been altering bylaws without any board vote. She literally typed them up, slapped on a date, and pretended they were passed. It wasn't just petty bullying, it was fraud. My despair hardened into something else: anger. Finally, I had leverage. I wasn't alone either. Sarah, the teacher down the block, signed a petition with me. David, a civil engineer, backed us too. The more we talked, the more stories came out. Unauthorized fees, threats, and suspicious maintenance charges. We gathered signatures, filed complaints, and I contacted a lawyer. For the first time in weeks, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I wasn't cornered. Linda must have sensed it because she doubled down. At the next HOA meeting in front of the whole neighborhood, she pointed her manicured finger at me. "This man refuses to comply with community standards," she announced like she was judge and jury. Her son Brent, entitled lazy, always standing behind her like a puppy, snickered from the corner. "If you can't follow the rules, maybe this isn't the place for you," Linda added, sweet as poison. The room was tense, all eyes on me. I stood, pulled out John's documents, and read aloud the bylaw that clearly required a board vote for any changes. "There's no record of one," I said. Because it never happened. The air shifted. People murmured, glancing at Linda. Her mask cracked. She sputtered about administrative discretion, but I wasn't finished. I handed copies of the forged notices to our attorney, who was seated quietly in the back, and then I looked her dead in the eye. "You've been fining people, illegally threatening them with foreclosure. That's not community management, that's abuse of power." That's when it happened. The treasurer of the board, red-faced and sweating, admitted the truth. He said Linda pushed him to sign blank notices she later filled in. The crowd erupted. Even her own allies started to back away. But Linda, she tried to hold on. She raised her voice, shouting about order and compliance, waving that damn clipboard like it could still command respect. Then came the final blow. A representative from the County Housing Authority, invited by our lawyer, stood and confirmed that every fine Linda had issued was void. She had no legal authority. In fact, her actions qualified as harassment and possible fraud. The board voted right then and there on a motion of no confidence. The hands shot up one after another until not a single person supported her. Linda's face drained of color. She slammed her clipboard on the table so hard the metal clip snapped. Brent muttered, "This isn't fair," but nobody listened. She realized in front of everyone she wasn't queen anymore. She was done. I watched as the same woman who tried to strip me of dignity, who tried to bully a widow who thought she could bend the law to her will, was stripped of her power in one unanimous vote. She stormed out, her son scrambling behind her. No applause, no sympathy, just the sound of the door slamming shut. And that's where I leave it. No victory parade, no barbecue in my honor, just the silence of a woman's downfall echoing through a room finally free of her grip. Sometimes standing your ground feels impossible. Sometimes you doubt yourself so much you almost hand over your power. But bullies thrive on silence, and the moment you speak up, their kingdom crumbles.